Hello and welcome to another edition of Up The Pilgrims, or should I say, Ole amigos. I am joined once again by Frankie Dettori and by ex-WWE champion Stone Cold Steve Austin, i.e. Stedders and David. Hello guys, how are you both doing?
All right, thanks. Seems a bit weird, doesn't it? But hey, we're doing it, aren't we? Hey.
Bit out of the ordinary, but you know what? There's a time and a place, and staying in the National League, we're having our own little party, aren't we, lads?
We are indeed.
We are exactly. And I mean, it's, we just thought, we want to sort of dress up like this. I mean, it's only been 5 days since the season ends, and we're already like this. So I think we need the season back ASAP, don't we?
I need some more football. I've got bored already.
I know. It's horrible. It's horrible without it and all that. So where should we start? We'll start off at Maidenhead, shall we, on Monday, because it was the final game of the season. Already got safe in the league, thankfully. We went there to have a party, 850 plus Boston fans, absolutely tremendous turnout, many in fancy dress. And Stedders, what did you go as in the end?
Well, for those who can't see us, I went as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Unfortunately, the moustache was not going to make an appearance tonight, but I've got the other bits of the costume. So, but we actually set out quite early, myself and David, and a coach for 8 o'clock in the morning. And it's fair to say that the journey and the place we went before the game itself was better than the game itself. There's no doubt about it. So we went beforehand, and they had a cup final on. We found out halfway down they had a cup final on. And to make this game even more interesting, it was the first team versus the reserve team of the same club. So
really,
so being the underdogs we are, we decided to cheer on the reserves, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. They never, the players were interacting with us, laughing at us. We all had a great time. You've seen some photos and videos of it, and credit due to Slough Town. They made us feel really welcome as well throughout the game, and a lovely setup and a much better ground than Maidenhead. Sorry, Maidenhead, much better, 10 times better than Maidenhead's ground, maybe even 20. But the game itself, what can we say, chaps? A lot of changes made. Let's make that first.
There was
a lot of changes made, and people come in. But 3-0 on the day. Looked a shadow of our former selves at the home game against Gateshead, and we got our just desserts that day. We didn't deserve anything. The crowd deserved more than what they got as well in terms of a performance. But season, it was almost like it was half on a beach. We say it sometimes, don't it? There's half thinking about their holidays, mate, which is fair dues. They've had a great season up towards the end, haven't they, on this fantastic run we keep talking about. So, it just wasn't our day, was it? Maidenhead wanted it more, but it didn't really matter to them at the end of the day either, did it?
No, exactly. And I mean, I think there was more stuff going on in the crowd than there was actually on the pitch, wasn't there, David?
That's what I was watching, to be honest with you. All the little Stone Island warriors and everybody suited and booted, ready to go. And it's a proper away day when the police get the video camera out, just in case they need to look at it later. But no, the football, dreadful. It was just about the day for me. And I took a few lads that don't usually come and watch Boston and watch other teams in the area, and I think I converted them overall. We just enjoyed ourselves, and the football was absolutely pants. It was a really bad performance with players that haven't been getting in the first team recently. But, should Graham have fielded those? I don't know. That's up to him to do, probably to maybe, try and take stock before he has to make some big decisions in the summer. But, it was all about the day, wasn't it? We were just cruising, and it was just a great occasion. Good to see so many people there, and hopefully we can carry that on with some bumper attendances into next season.
Hopefully. But I mean, Stedders, what did you take of? I don't know if you did hear Graham Coughlin's interview after the game. Very upset, quite annoyed. I mean, you could tell on the pitch he was visibly annoyed and upset. There was no kind of getting involved with the crowd or anything like that, was there? He was annoyed. I mean, do you think he had fair cause to be annoyed, or do you think it was just like one of them days that the players could have just enjoyed?
I just think he's one of these guys that would beat his own nan at Twister if he had to. Do you know what I mean? No, but he would, wouldn't he? If he could beat somebody across the road and say he got there first, he's that kind of guy. He's a serial winner, isn't he? He's a serial winner, this guy, and a serial results man. I love that interview. I rated it so much. It would have been so easy to turn around and just say, we just weren't on it today. The lads who did all the hard work already. Nah, none of that. He absolutely posted him, didn't he? And it was brilliant. From a fan's point of view, it was just like we were doing the interview again. Like I said, I don't think there's been many occasions where we've disagreed with him. What he said post-match, I didn't disagree with him at all. We were awful. No. Absolutely awful, weren't we? Never looked like scoring, never looked like threatening. Can't remember their goalkeeper even making a save, let alone anything else. And some of them goals were very, very poor, weren't they, from a Boston defensive point of view?
They were.
So they're very poor to give away. And like I say, they just had us on toast that day, mate, really. But like David said, it was all about the fans that day, wasn't it? The 850 that turned out in fantastic numbers, albeit the safety certificate for Maidenhead might need reviewing.
Yes.
That away end was awful. And the ground in general was not to a great standard. So I'm not too disheartened to see them drop down for that reason alone, you know. So, but yeah, no, I rated the manager's interview. I love that about him. I think that's a trait that we need to carry on with him, and make sure that we get the same kind of performances out of him, because he only strives to get better. Like you say, he's always striving to do better with this team, because he knows what the potential's like, doesn't he? So, but yeah, no, very refreshing interview, and loved it as a fan. Brilliant. Yes, give me more of that, Graham.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I mean, at the beginning of the game as well, when the players were warming up, the goalkeeper came out for Maidenhead first, and he just came up to me and was like, "Okay, so what you come dressed as then today?" I'm sort of stood there like, "Can't you guess?" But yeah. Also, Zach Mills though was interviewed, wasn't he? And I thought that was quite an interesting interview, because he kind of went into the background of basically what's going to happen now. You know, the players are going to be waiting for phone calls to see if they've been retained or not. You know, he's obviously got another job as well that he said he's been working around, and he said that they've basically been full-time for the last however long anyway. But also congratulations, by the way, to Zach Mills. His wife's just had a baby as well, so big congratulations for that. I think he's going to have a very long summer by the sounds of it. But yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking about the retained list in a moment, and yeah, I mean, it's now a time for a lot of these players, because Graham was saying in his interview how he wasn't sure about a couple of them, but that game kind of made his mind up. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, isn't it, for some of them, David?
Didn't he mention on some of the interview as well? Sorry, that the ones that he had offered, he might have to try and alter them. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's just. Yeah, and that's what I like about Graham. You know, Tom sort of mentioned it. He's, you know, if he doesn't like you, he won't pick you. And if he doesn't get what he wants, he won't pick you. And if you don't fit the way he wants to play, he won't pick you. And if you don't win and show heart and desire, you won't play for this football club. And that is what happened on the Bank Holiday Monday. We were awful, really, really poor. And he said that the players had a chance to come in and make a difference and try and prove Graham wrong for not playing them. And, you know, it sort of just capitulated. Rather, that's like they haven't played very well together, you know, in a side with each other, because they haven't really had the rubber of green. People like Ollie Green and Noah Wadsworth and the other loanees that have come in. We saw Luca Alonso get his debut as well. He's just been on loan, I believe it's step 4 all season. So it's sort of a mishmash squad, but, you know, they should have performed better than they did. You know, Maidenhead have been relegated for a reason. They're one of the bottom 4 sides in this division. So if you wanted to be a player here next year at Boston United, you'd probably expect us to go and put a show on and at least try and perform your best. And to be honest, I couldn't pick out a single player on Monday. You know, there was effort there. It was a bit like the Culverhouse, the Culverhouse games in the past. You know, there was effort there, but, you know, not really a lot of anything else. So yeah, it was a bit of a poor poor bank holiday Monday. But no, certainly food for thought for Graham, and we'll hopefully see the fruits of that in the next coming days.
Exactly. And of course, I mean, a lot of the teams are releasing their retained lists at the minute. And Boston haven't released it as yet. Obviously, still going through, and just the way it's the Boston way, isn't it? I guess. But we're going to go through, aren't we? And just sort of say from each player who we think should be retained, who we think shouldn't be retained. And then obviously, we'll see when it comes out how right we were. So I'm going to start off with number one and Cameron Gregory. Um, I've I've said that I think he should stay. He should be offered new terms. I've heard lots of different rumours around, from people saying, different bits and pieces about him, and whether he might stay, whether he might go. But Steaders, what's your take on Cameron Gregory?
Yeah, well, we missed him, didn't we, when we weren't playing this season? That hiatus we had without him, we just couldn't find a goalkeeper this time around. Unlike the last time when we could find a goalkeeper who could replace him. This time it just seemed like a bit more of a mission, didn't it, to find anybody? And no offence to Aidan Stone, he's just not Cameron Gregory, is he?
No.
So, but no, you offer him a deal. You offer him what you can. Will it be enough? I'm not so sure this time. I think he might leave this time, which is a horrible thing to say. I wanted him to stay so much last season. We all did, and we all thought he would leave last season as well. So for us to get another year out of him, I think we've done really well. If he was to go now, I'd be absolutely gutted, but I wouldn't be too surprised. I think that we've been lucky to get him for this long, like I say, and to get him, to have him for another season would be fantastic. Who knows? You see, we were talking a little bit about this, I'm sure, throughout these players as well, but the location things of it and offering players houses might be something that sways him. Don't know. We hope so. Because, like I said, I'd name a bloody street after him if it meant he's going to sign for us again, to be honest with you, mate, because he's that good, isn't he? You think about all the big saves made throughout the season. I'm trying to think now. There was a big save in that Gateshead game, weren't there? Last home game of the season. Massive save. Penalty saves as well against Sutton United. We're thinking about points here that have kept us in this league. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough because there's people going to come sniffing for him because now he's had 2 fantastic seasons with us, hasn't he? So it's going to be tough to keep hold of him, but 100% you offer him what you can and hope it's enough. But like I say, I can see him leaving, unfortunately, this time around.
David?
Yeah, let's hope not. Let's hope not, because he is a quality goalkeeper. He was probably the best goalkeeper in the division below, and he's certainly, in my opinion, up there. I know we haven't really seen much of other goalkeepers. We've only had one chance really this year, 1 or 2, but he's definitely up there, I think. So there is people going to come knocking on the door, and that's what Graham said the other day, wasn't it? There's people going to be looking at the Boston players now, thinking, "How the bloody hell have they done that?" And they're going to be sniffing and sniffing. Obviously, we know Cameron's situation. Logistically, for him to move essentially the other side of the country and move his kids and everything, it's a tall order for him. As we're going full time. So, like Tom says, I wouldn't be surprised if he left, but it'd be bloody good if he stayed because he's a quality goalkeeper. He's probably, one of the best ones. He's got to be up there, surely, in Boston United. I think, just for how the big moments, the penalties last year, and he's just a really nice, and he's a really nice, genuine lad as well, which is good to see. So yeah, it'd be good if we can keep him. I don't know whether though he loves the badge too much. I don't know if he might be prepared to come and leave. I could see it going either way. I could see him going to the Football League, honestly, or he could, he loves the club. He's played here for 3 and a bit seasons now. He could totally buy into it and come here. So yeah, just like Tom says, offer him what you can. Don't go silly because we don't want anything going to pot yet. But he's the person that I'd like to keep around personally.
Yeah, I have to agree 100% on that one. The next player is a player that went out on loan towards the end of the season to Hereford. and he did play in the last game at Maidenhead last week, and that is Kieran Coats. Now, I've got him down to actually be released. I think, obviously with Graham sending him out on loan, he's obviously not got too many plans for him. Thought obviously he'd try him out in the last game as he was back at the club. Came off the bench, and yeah, I don't think it's just worked quite right for him right from the beginning, hasn't it? Where he got that nasty injury right at the beginning of the season, the eye injury, and it's just not really worked for him, has it? Stedders?
No, he was always going to struggle to get into the side with the two playing wing backs that we had as well, weren't he? Playing as well as they have as well all season. He was always going to struggle. So the loan move was great for him, the perfect loan move for him as well. Hereford actually quite rated him. They said that he was actually quite a quiet lad on the pitch in terms of what they wanted. But they said he was very efficient. I think that's his level, to be honest with you. A top end National League North or South side would be perfect for Kieran Coats. We've got a big game coming up next Sunday, and it's Scunny versus Chester. So whichever one of them stays down might be in the shopping for somebody like Kieran Coats. Who knows? But yeah, no, I don't think it'll work out for Boston. I don't think he's going to be one that we're going to be looking at keeping. Like you say, I think he'll be released with our best wishes. We haven't seen enough of him. Very attack-minded as well whenever I've seen him play, which I quite like, to be honest with you. He seems to get on the ball and try and dribble around people and that, but just not seeing enough good quality from him to think that he's a National League player. So, yeah, for me, it would be somebody I'll be letting go.
David?
Yeah, it's a shame because last year I put him in my National North team of the season. I really, really rated Kieran Coats at Chester when he played. And, it's such a shame for him to get that eye injury or whatever it was. He's just been unlucky. And J Rowe's been absolutely amazing. So he can't get in the side. He's had to force a loan by the looks of it, try and get some playing time. He's done all right in the National League. In National North, but he's not really had the chance in the National League. And when he came on Saturday, I know one game's not enough to judge a player, is it? But he didn't really do much on the ball or anything special. So yeah, it's sad for me to say it hasn't really worked out for Kieran Coats like I thought it would. I thought it'd be one of the key players in our side this season, but it's a shame. It's a shame for him to probably. He's probably going to have to go, isn't he? Just probably on his own terms to trying to get a bit more football, because I don't think he'll be happy with the amount that he's played this year with the players that he's had ahead of him. So it's with a heavy heart that I think we're going to have to say goodbye to Kieran Coats.
Yeah, have to agree again there. Next one, Cameron Green. He's had a tremendous season, and I mean during the season as well, he's even had. I think his heart is definitely on his sleeve as well. I mean, I believe there was one time where you saw an interview with him, David, and he was in tears, because of the way the club was going at the time and the way the team was losing. Yep. He is definitely a player, 100%. He's got to be offered a new deal, hasn't he, David?
This is another one. It's a bit like the Cameron Green situation, isn't it? Because I believe he's based down south. Whether they can travel up and down and get to training is another question, isn't it? And these are all issues that we're going to have to factor into this, is whether they've got another job or they've got family down there and they don't really want to move up to Boston, because we know how hard it is to get to Boston. Graham's talked about it many a time. So no, it's going to be hard for him. I would keep him. I think. I don't know if we can improve on that. I think the wing backs that Graham uses in his system are so important to the way that we play, because most of the time it's just Green knocking the ball in the box and J Rowe's on the end of it, isn't it, really? So they're so important to how they play. I just wonder if there's better out there. He's very, very attack minded. They're both very attack minded fullbacks, but we knew people were interested. I heard a rumor that Yeovil put a bid in.
That's
and
right.
It rejected. So it was it's odd. I could see him staying, but I'd also see him going. Personally, I would like to see him stay, but it's just whether we can tie him down, to be perfectly honest with you. And does Graham know better people in that position?
Well, of course, yes.
I think he gives a bit defensively. Sorry, to be fair though, he does. There was a few times at the beginning of the season when we were playing the 5 at the back on the Culverhouse that he gave us a few struggles at the back, but you can't really compare
Yeah.
that to the side that we have now, though, because we got Nicholson back, and those two
Yes.
complement each other so well. Because Nicholson does all the dirty work, and Green likes to fly forward, bomb on. So no, I rate that. It's I don't know. It'll be another one like the logistics, but
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'd like to see him stay.
Yeah, Steaders.
Yeah, it's very similar as well. Can't really argue much with what David said. Interesting enough about Cameron Green, though, is that Culverhouse signed him, but Coughlin knows how to play him. That's the difference.
Yes.
He was when he was playing under Culverhouse. He, like David said, he struggled like hell. I can think of 2 or 3 occasions at the start of the season where he just couldn't get suited with that back formation. It's almost like Coughlin. He's a Coughlin player to me. He's that kind of player, isn't he? Again, heart on his sleeve, give you everything kind of guy. I've been really impressed with him actually down that side. I think he's done excellently well. It's not just a case of getting down the side. He's got quality in the box as well. He can deliver quality balls into the box. Cameron Green is a yes for me. Again, people will be sniffing out, like David said, but we're a full-time outfit now. We can start to offer a bit more, can't we? Okay, we may not be able to offer as much in terms of wages, but in terms of the playing style, in terms of the contact with the management, we can offer now the likes of what the other teams can, albeit we're not playing with the same budget as some of these teams are. But again, we look at it, and this full-time announcement, it's probably turned a few heads, which are what I'm hoping has happened to a few players, including Cameron Green, and Cameron Green can realise that his worth is here. And I think you've got to make him into a great Boston United player there as well.
Yeah, of course. The next one, Mitch Roberts. Now, he started off the season, obviously playing alongside Bozzy. Obviously got that injury. He's been out majority of the season. Did make one half of the appearance this week. He is one that I've actually put to stay. I don't think we've really seen enough of him, especially under Graham at the moment. Obviously, Graham's seen him in training, knows what he's after. So I've actually put maybe as a squad player, possibly Mitch Roberts, Steaders.
Yeah, agree again. Really, not seen enough to make a judgment. Really, have we? I'd like to see him in pre-season. Give him a pre-season under his belt, a full pre-season, and see how we get with him. If it doesn't go well, it will probably end up like a Kieran Coats loan kind of deal, won't it? Out on loan kind of thing. I could see that happening if he's not getting enough game time. But I think he's a good squad player, like you say. I think he could do a job in that back line if called upon. Like you say, it's hard for us as fans to judge him much because we've not seen enough of him with the poor lad. He's had a right wretched injury, but it was great to see him out there again last Monday. And get a few minutes at the back end of the season. But no, I think Mitch Roberts probably, like you say, give him an offer, give him another go at it. Why not?
Yeah, David.
I'm going to disagree with you guys. I think he should be released. I don't think we've seen as much from him as I would have liked. I know he's been hampered by injury, but still, he's been getting up to speed. Obviously, we don't know how fast he got fit, but he can't have been making that many waves, and it was a shame because he'd had a promising career up till now. Released from Birmingham youth system at a young age, played nearly every game last year, I believe, for Oxford City when they went down from the National League into the National North, and came to Boston, obviously trying to keep the team up this time, and unfortunately hasn't really had that much chance to prove his name and prove his worth. So that's probably why I think he's going to be one that's going to be, probably overlooked and justifiably released.
Right. So the next one, Michael Bostwick. Now, I've actually got to be released. We know he's, obviously he's got employment as well elsewhere. And he obviously suffered with injuries. He's getting to that age now. Can he do it again for another season in the National League? Not too sure myself. David, what's your take on it?
Personally, no for me. He's, getting to that age now. He's an experienced pro, and he's somebody that you'd love to have around the dressing room as just, some words here and there just to G the players on and give a bit of nous. But I think after the success of last year and sort of the polar opposite this year of struggling to get into the side, we've had some excellent, centre halves coming in. Teal, oh my word, what a player he's been. Zach Mills has really stepped up to the plate. And when I still don't know if Bostwick's actually fit, we haven't really had much update from the club with that. So he's getting to that age now. I personally think he may retire at the end of this season. It's a real possibility, which will be sad, but at least he'd have ended his career on a high point at Boston United, getting them promoted and keeping them up at the first time of asking in the National League. But I think personally, he's probably going to have to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had an operation, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago, hence why he wasn't at the last home game of the season. So, yes, Steaders, what's your take?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one, actually, but I do obviously have to agree with you guys. I think the step up to National League was too much of a step up for Michael Bostwick, even fit or unfit, to be honest with you. He struggled at the start of the season, didn't he, to get to grips with the pace of the game. I think this would have been very interesting if we'd have gone down, because I could have seen him staying if we'd probably got relegated. And if he was fit, he could have done another job at that level for us, 100%. But I think the league has probably made our decision for us in this one. I think the National League's just too much of a step up for him. Likewise with David, I can see him retiring at the end of this season. It's been a stellar career for him, and he's done fantastically well. But you could tell that he lacked that bit of pace, couldn't you, at the start of the season? Couldn't keep up with the guys up the top there. And it was, like I say, it was just like you could tell that he wasn't into the game completely because of his age, and it was showing. It doesn't show so much at National League North, but in National League it showed so much at the start of the season for poor old Bozzy. So yeah, it's a goodbye from me as well from this season, but fantastic servant to the club, and if he happens to play again, fantastic for him, and if not, he can look back on his career and say he's done it all, really, can't he?
Exactly. And I mean, there are teams, obviously local teams around here that would probably possibly take him on, and I'm sure he could still have another season or so left in him at another club. But like you say, I don't think it's just right at Boston United. So I say he's been a great servant anyway for the last couple of years, and yeah, all the best to him. But of course, we'll have to see what happens. You just don't know these days, do you? The next one I've got is Tom Leake. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think we'll all be in agreement on this one. I think he should be released. I thought he had a good season in the National League North. He came in a few times this season before obviously he went out on loan to Chester, and he did okay when he had to stand in, but I just don't think Boston is the right place for him. And he's another player I would release. Steaders?
This is one, interestingly, that I've got a little grey area on. There's a few that have got a little grey area on. One was Tom Leake, because I instantly remember David saying the back end of last season to keep hold of him for this season, because he's only young, isn't he? He's still only a young chap, isn't he? And biding his trade. He's had a good loan spell at Chester, albeit they've got a playoff final on Sunday. So if they go up, will they exercise a clause that they may have in there just to try and tempt it away from Boston? I don't know. Tom Leake is one that I would like to keep on the peripheral, and if you can give him a deal that suits him, keep him, because I think you've got a player inside there as well. He needs National League experience. So, and at the minute he's had to go back down again to the north to get it, hasn't he? He didn't really get. I'd say he had a few games for us at the start. I don't think he did too bad either, to be honest with you. I don't think he made many mistakes or did too wrong. But when you're getting the likes of Connor Teal and Zach Mills playing as well as they are, it's going to be hard for anybody to get into that side in that position. But a Tom Leake squad player, for me, I'd keep him. I'd offer him a deal.
David?
Yeah, I'd agree with Tom there. I'm a big Tom Leake fan. I like what he does. He's only a young lad, like I said last year. He's I think it'd be handy to keep in the building. I could see him going. Obviously, when he came in for Graham, though, he was sort of, you know, the one he leant back on. He was looking like, why is this not working? And he filled in the spot quite well, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's up to him. He's going for his third promotion in 3 years to the National League, which is ridiculous, by the way. And I hope he scores against Scunthorpe again. And it'll be great to see. The thing is, though, I know it's a bit off topic, but who do you actually rather see? Would you see Chester and Scunthorpe or come up? Personally, I don't mind it that much. I think out of the two clubs in the playoffs, those two are the two that I, you know, sort of respect the most and would want to come up into the division the most. And the one that I think that would actually put up a fight, I know you saw Buxton in there. Obviously, we haven't seen them this season, but Buxton have had an almighty rise into the playoffs, and they just snuck in like we did, I believe, at the end of last season. They did it this season, but they couldn't get past Chester. So, you know, I think they'd come up and give it a right good go, one of those sides. But personally, I think Scunthorpe would be the better one just for the occasion itself, because we were sort of missing that this year. It's a shame Dagenham have gone down as well, because that would have been another great day out.
Yeah, I mean, Scunthorpe as well are the closer team, aren't they? So you get the local derby as well back, because Tamworth really isn't a local, even though they're the closest team to us. Was it? I saw the attendances the other day, and 90 odd people just came from Tamworth this season. 92 or 93 people. You know, for the closest team, that's just ridiculous. So I think for me, definitely Scunthorpe, I'd like to see come up. But I'd be happy if Chester came up as well. Like you say, they've got a good support as well. So either team, like you say, I think is going to give it a go for sure. The next player, I think this one we're all going to agree on staying is Katon Ward. You know, he's had the odd game this season. He's come off the bench a few times, but you know, he seems to have made a difference in that midfield when he's played, I think. And I'd like to see him sign up again for next season. Steaders?
Impact player that changes games. I put this on his Twitter the other week. And it got quite a bit of traction, actually. This guy changes games. Can we give him enough minutes to satisfy him? That is the one question you have to ask about Katon Ward, because to me, he scores big goals in big games. You can't buy that. You can't buy guys that turn up and do that. This is the one I would love to see him back next season as a National League player for Boston United. I love his energy. I love what he brings to the team. He can change games. And you know, when you look back at the goals he scored this year, what we're talking the Gateshead game, yes, of course, but at York, he scored there. Yeah, he scored at York. He scored at Barnet.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking little ground he's gone and scored, are we? We're talking the big boys, important goals, match-winning goals. Keep Katon Ward. Trust me, keep this guy around. I love him and everything he brings to Boston United. He embraces the fans so much as well. The fans love him. Other fans love him as a player. 100% keep Katon Ward. He'll be one of my first 5 on my list. You know, if you can, it's all about satisfaction of getting the minutes on the pitch, though. That is going to be the only issue and the only bugbear with Katon Ward. But yeah, for me, 100% keep.
David?
Yeah, I'd keep him. Like Tom says, it's just what he wants. I think he's done really well this season to be in and out of the side and still make the impact that he's done and still have the importance in the games and the big moments, and took those big moments as well in the games that he's played in. So I think personally, you know, keep him around. He's a centurion at the club now. He just made 101 appearances now. He's been here for a few years. You know, he's a quality player on his day. He didn't really get the chance in the side that he would have really wanted to at Boston this year. But, you know, we'll just have to see. It's whether he's happy as a player. Personally, I think we'd all keep him. We would all keep him. And I think most of the fan base would keep him about. But it's just whether he wants to stay. And, you know, maybe keeping his mate around might help out as well.
Yeah, of course. We'll go on to the next one. Now, this one, it might be Right or not, Jacob Hazel. Now, I'm going to say to keep him. I'm going to say offer him a new contract if he's happy to be a squad player. I mean, he's scored enough goals this season. He's especially towards the end of the season, he started to play really well, I thought. Beginning of the season, he scored goals, which he's primarily paid to do at the club. But I still think we need a prolific striker in that is scoring sort of 20 odd plus goals a season. I'm not sure if Jacob is that player now to do that at Boston, but I would still keep him if he was happy to be a squad player. David, what's your thoughts?
If the rumours are true about the ACL injury, this could be a risk, because
I
think he's been a great player. He's done well, at the start of the season. He was okay. He's sort of running a bit around like a headless chicken, to be honest with you, from my perspective. Didn't look like he was running. He was putting the effort in, no shadow of a doubt. But maybe just under the old management, he had no guidance whatsoever. And he was just sort of working his absolute socks off at the top of the pitch. And he had really nothing to show for it. But now under Coughlin, I think he's turned it on. I think Coughlin's definitely came in and helped him and pushed him to be a better player. It's just how bad this injury is, and I think that's what it's going to stem down to. Because if it's, ACL, it's going to be about 8 to 9 months minimum.
Yeah.
So it's a long time, and it's a real shame because, he's probably one of the players that you'd want in the 6-yard box on the edge with the ball at the feet, because most of the time he's gonna score and it's gonna be a goal. So yeah, it'll be a shame to see him go, but I think it'll all stem down to how bad that injury actually is, and we won't know until the retain list comes out. But we can have our little speculation on here, can't we?
Of course, Steaders.
Yeah, no, keep him. If I could, I'd keep him for sure. I think he's turned it, like David said, turned it on. Looks like a different player at the minute, different mentality. Yeah. Looks like a different Jacob Hazel now, doesn't he? And I love him. I love the fact that he is completely against the grain. He's completely against the norm. Damo, you want a 20 goal scorer in this league? Go and find me one, mate, that we can afford, because they are
well, exactly.
Not many. Mate, you look at how many people have actually scored 20 goals in the league this season.
Not many. Regan Linney, Nick Horton, I think. There's not that many more.
We're done, aren't we? We're about finished, aren't we? You're not going to find one. So no. To me, the bit that he will chip in, he will get you, I would say, comfortably 12 National League goals every season. Comfortably 12, maybe even more.
Yeah.
So for that reason alone, I'd keep him. Yeah, we all. I mean, I certainly did. I was behind the goal for that last Gateshead game, and I gasped when he went down, because you could tell the way and the bloke got up and tried to carry on. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing.
I couldn't.
Cool, wasn't it? I was like, what is he doing? But he didn't last much longer, did he? But no, I love what he stands for. I love the fact that he plays with his heart on his sleeve. I love the fact we spoke about this before. He's got a little bit of arrogance about him. He brings a little bit of arrogance to our team, which I think is fantastic. He's different to everybody else. He's against the grain. And for me, Jacob Hazel, if you can keep him in a Boston shirt next season, do so.
And of course, it was the Watergate a few games ago as well, when he tipped the water out as well, which was fantastic. So yeah, no, absolutely. Hopefully the injury isn't too bad, and we will see Jacob back in a Boston shirt next season. Fingers crossed. The next player, I think we're all going to agree on this one, and I think we actually got a hint from the last podcast as well with Graham, and that is Adam Marriott. He's been a good servant for Boston, the first spell, and then obviously back this time. He's tried his best when he's given a chance, I think, and he scored, in my opinion, goal of the season as well last season against Elverchurch. So, but I think, it's not going to work out for him. This now, he's been on the bench many a times this season. He's come on for a bit part, and I think he's going to be one of the first out the door, 100%. Steaders.
Yeah, completely agree. We got a world exclusive there, didn't we?
We did.
No, so yeah, no, it is goodbye to Adam Marriott by the sounds of it. Do you know what I love about it though? That again, that interview with Graham was, I think he mentioned that he got an offer from a club and he turned it down. And he said that he wanted to stay. Props to him, innit? Props to Marriott for sticking it out for this long. Could you imagine being on the bench that many times in a season and getting that many minutes? But again, the one I know you said about goal of the season, the one that sticks out for my mind is a Dagenham away goal. The one which he scored there, you know what I mean, to seal that game. And do you know what? It just felt like the pressure just relieved all off him in that split second, didn't it? As soon as that goal went in, it was almost like it was relief as much as anything for him. And do you know what? Like I say, National League North clubs come knocking for this guy. He will score at that level still, I think, personally. I still think he could still do a job at National League North level. So, yeah, where could I see him ending up? Peterborough Sports, that kind of place, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Like that with Gias
and Marriott up top again.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? But yeah, no, wherever he decides to go next, you know, credit due to him. But like I say, I admire his commitment to the cause, and you've got to give him props for that.
Have you seen on X this week? Apparently, a Dagenham and Redbridge fan is having a go at, I believe it's Christian James, actually, because he stuck a photo on of Marriott, and he's doing a certain sign that a certain Elon Musk did earlier this year, and say, well, it's the wrong, he shouldn't have used that photo, and old Boston are about, you know, we won't go too much into it, but it's nothing. It's something out of nothing. A Dagenham fan, obviously bitter, I would say.
One word,
and,
David. Salty. Very, very salty.
Yes.
Yeah.
But David, what's your take on Marriott?
You know, I thank Marriott for his service at the club, to be honest with you. He hasn't probably had as much time, you know, playing as he wanted, and he did well in that little spell where he came on and made positive influences with Gale at the just after Graham came in. But you know, he hasn't had as much football as he'd like, and we found out in the interview with Graham that he's decided to leave the club. But like Tom says, I wonder who come knocking for Marriott. Might start with an S and end in St Albans, but then we'll just have to, you know, I thank him for sticking around and, you know, keep pushing the lads on and pushing the team to be better than they are. I'm not the best fan of Marriott, but you know, you just have to thank him for what he's done and wish him well in his career.
Yeah. So like you say, kudos to Marriott. You know, he stuck around when he could have left, and kept with the team going. So the next player is Jay Rowe, a player that came in quite late to pre-season. You know, he just sort of turned up, I think, at the Notts County game, didn't he? It was announced just before that he was going to be signing on after having some trials at Swindon and other clubs. But another consistent season for Jay. Again, I would offer him new terms. Will he take them? Well, I think we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But David, what's your take?
Yeah, I'd offer him new terms, but like you, I think his intention was never, ever to stay at the club last summer. And I think it'll be the same again this one. I don't think, you know, if I do think he were to sign for a club, it'd be in the Football League. I don't think he'd try and go to another team in the National League, because I don't think that would be enough to prize him away. But, you know, the rumours about the saga that he led a few clubs on last season, I could see, you know, his agent having a little rethink and trying to get the business done early doors this season, because he does deserve to go and play on in the Football League, which is a real shame. But he's going to be there on merit, isn't he? 9 goals scored from a right back in a system that probably favours his role, and he can just pop up with goals. But, you know, I think he probably will end up going, to be honest, which is sad. But, you know, I think he'll, you know, he might be a bit smarter this year in picking and choosing his.
Steaders.
Yeah, well, one thing's for sure, isn't it? I don't think Graham Coughlin's going to have the same situation as what Ian Culver had last year. Jay Rowe's not going to be in charge of this discussion, is he? Graham Coughlin's going to be in charge of this discussion, isn't he? It won't be the other way. Almost seems like Jay had us a little bit on strings last season, didn't it? And, you know, he was waiting around, sniffing around, seeing what he could get. fair dues. He's got to make his money as well. So probably that's what he was going for, the money side of it. I'm not sure. We can't really say. Can't speculate. We don't know who actually came in from, if anybody did. But if you can offer him a deal 100%. If he goes, I think he goes with his head held high from being a Boston player. Again, like I say, 9 goals. His work ethic's fantastic, isn't it? It's great, but I just hope for the club's sake, and I always look at some of these things like with a club head on, that we don't have that saga of last summer again. If he's going to go, just give us a goodbye message and go and do your thing. Where do I think he will go? Grimsby Town would be an ideal place for him. I think somewhere around that level, just outside the playoffs this season. Just missed out on the last day, didn't they? They lost to Wimbledon on the last day. But yeah, somewhere like that is probably where I'd see himself pitching himself and where he should go. But yeah, please, for the club's sake, please don't let it drag out all season and we see him at first day of the season with a Boston shirt in a car park again. We don't want that, do we?
Definitely not. The next player, we've already mentioned him a couple of times in this podcast. And well, there's only 2 things I'm going to say about him, and that is new contract, and that is Connor Teal. David?
Yeah, sorted. We're done. No, he needs to stay. Oh my word. Probably the best signing the club has made in the past 5 years. Let's go for that one. There's some good players in there. You know, we've made some good signings.
Better than Marriott.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he is better than Marriott, Damien.
Better than Jimmy Knoll.
Better than Jimmy Knoll.
First time around.
Better than Jimmy Knowles, honestly. Better than Cameron Gregory's where it sits for me. You know, that's the signing. It's either him or no. I'm going to say it. Connor Teal should be playing in the EFL next season, but I think he's going to stay at Boston United. He is quite possibly the best centre half I've ever seen in a Boston shirt, and how the hell he did not get in that Altrincham side, I do not know. Maybe it's because he wasn't suited to the Phil Parkinson ticky-taka, tippy-tappy football that doesn't really seem to work. Well, it works for half a season, and then they fall off and then into mid-table madness. So, you know, he's more suited to the big headers, lots of running, big, powerful, strong football that Graham wants to play. So just please keep him, because this guy is absolutely quality.
That is.
Yeah. What do you add to that? If we're going to have Cameron Green close, we need Connor Teal Drive, and they need to be next door to each other on that Chestnut Homes place next to the new Kia garage, the opposite side of the stadium. Let's get these roads named and after these legends that we could be building. Connor Teal, fantastic. Keep him by any means. Throw the kitchen sink at him as much as we can afford him. Get him a new car. Give him a Kia. Give him whatever he wants. Whatever he wants to keep him. Keep Connor Teal at this club, because again, I can't fault the lad. Brilliant. Just, do you know what the best part about it is he's not what he's tall, but he's not broad, is he? Do you know what I mean by that? Stature-wise, he's not your average centre half. You know, when you think of a centre half, you think big, bustling, gonna push you off the ball. So he's so athletic. The lad is so athletic, and he's fantastic. And like you say, what he lacks in stature, he makes up in skill and ability. Fantastic. Like you say, he should be an EFL player next season. But if we get him in that amber and black again, I'll be certainly one very, very happy Pilgrim.
I can just see Connor Teal way coming soon. The next one, and I think we're all going to agree on this one as well, very similar to Connor Teal, and that is Brad Nicholson, new contract. That's all again I can say. Steaders?
Yes. Just yes. A shadow of his former self again, weren't it? We worried that he couldn't step up and play in the National League. He has answered all his critics from his last season's mistakes. He's answered everything to us. I think he's set up 6 or 8 goals just from throw-ins, something stupid like that this season. Coughlin player, the direct way we like playing, fantastic, suits him. I was one as well. Again, I wasn't too sure if he could play at this level. And again, you know, the poor lad had his confidence completely knocked at scunny by not getting in their side after playing so well from at the start of the season. All of a sudden, he changed their formation and then not playing at all to get in any minutes, to then, you know, that's a ballsy move from him, isn't it? To go up another a league, to come back here and play again, and not only play, but star in it. The guy's been fantastic. Do you know what? I think if you cut his arm open, it would be amber and black inside, mate, because he is Boston United through and through, isn't he? He is. And, you know, I could see this guy staying here for 2, 3, 4 years if we really wanted him to. He's found his home. This is his home. He's tried elsewhere. It doesn't work. Brad Nicholson, Boston is his home. So Brad Nicholson close next to Connor Teal way.
Absolutely. David?
Yeah, I think you got to keep him around after, you know, his importance this year. I think he suits that system so well, as he just covers and he just complements that left wing back so well. And Cameron Green's, you know, been great from his defensive work, and Brad's just sort of had to sit back and make the crunching tackles here, there, and everywhere when he can. And the long throw is also something that we've utilised. So yeah, I think it'll be good to keep him around. Like Tom said, it was probably a bit of a big move and a big shock for everybody, because you were like, well, if he's not getting in the Scunthorpe side, he's not going to get in the Boston side, is he? But little did we know that this man was probably one of the main reasons and for the main outputs of goal as well, to be honest with you, is bloody long throws. And when you look at the height in the side, it's not like we're an Eastleigh or a Tamworth and we're all big, muscly men. We've got quite a young squad, and, you know, for us to be playing this type of football, I think we've had to try and compensate a little bit more in energy and a little bit more in agility and speed, and, you know, just willing and desire to get on the ball and get the ball back when you don't win it. And if you don't win the first contact, you win the second one. It's just the great standards that Graham drives, and it suits Brad Nicholson perfectly.
It does, absolutely, 100%. The next one is Jordan Richards. Yeah, I think he's had a decent season. You know, there was parts of the season where he hasn't quite played well enough, but I think generally overall, I think he probably does deserve a new contract. David?
Yes, I'd say so. I'm a big Jordan Richards fan. Yeah, that was a bit apprehensive. I could see him staying next year, maybe as a squad player, but there's maybe better quality out there for what he does. I think maybe Graham would need somebody a bit more technical. I could see him going to somewhere National League North if he were to leave top end. Maybe even, you know, Macclesfield coming in. I think they're going to have plenty of cash to smash about. I think it'd be quite a good fit for them, or somebody like a Fylde. He does the basics quite well, but I think Graham might demand a bit better standards this year. So I think, you know, he's good at what he does and winning the ball back and just controlling that midfield. But maybe, you know, his passing quality could be questioned at times a little bit, but that's maybe a bit too harsh on him. So I don't know. It's whether he wants to stay, and I don't know if his minutes are guaranteed at the club next season.
Right. Status?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate for Jordan Richards, always have been, because I like the guys that do the work that you don't notice. I'm a big advocate for players like that, and he is 100% that. He is the unsung hero of this team, isn't he? He found himself unlucky, like you say. He had to play out a bit of position because Martin Woods' injuries at the start of the season. We said that before on his podcast as well. You know, once Woods gets injured, he's had to sacrifice his normal playing position. I think the sign of Frankie Maguire was the one, really, that helped him a lot. And when Maguire started playing more towards the top end of the field, it just helped Jordan Richards along a little bit more, didn't it? The Greg Sloggett one, that was a real key signing, actually, for Jordan Richards, because, like you say, Jordan Richards can now play in his favoured position, do what he does best, break the game up, bring people into play. I think Jordan Richards would admit himself that at the start of the season he was off the boil, and he was. But towards the end of the season, we started to see the Jordan Richards we know and love. Again, he's a Boston man to me. He's another one of these. If you can sign him again for next season, I think I will agree with David on that point. Minutes is going to be where he's going to struggle, because if somebody else can come in and just play that bit better than him and pass the ball a little bit more than he can, he might struggle to get the minutes. But I love Jordan Richards. If he was to go, I'd be very sad to see him go. But yeah, top end of National League North is probably where he should pitch himself.
Yeah, yeah. The next one, not too sure. We haven't seen a lot of him, but Ollie Green. I mean, he's done okay. Whether he'll stay, I'm not too sure really. For next season. Yeah, Steaders.
Hard to pass judgment on somebody you've not really seen
It
a
is,
lot of.
isn't it?
Yeah, I compared him to Sam Smart of last season. A bit like that,
Yes.
a bit like
I was just trying to
what
think of him actually.
what is he actually going to bring to the side? I don't know. He's come from
Hmm.
Livingston, come unfit. It's taken him ages to get anywhere near the side, and then when he's come into the side, I'm not really seeing anything. It again, I don't want to. You can't slate players because if you don't see a lot of them, will he allow the pre-season to see what he's like? I don't know. I don't really know where we stand with this chap. To be honest with you, it was a strange signing. I think it altogether. The old the actual signing itself was a bit weird in my. Brian Coughlin's not got many wrong, but I think this one is probably what he did get wrong. But yeah, if he's not there this next season, I won't be too surprised.
David.
Yeah, he sort of come to the club, didn't he? And he didn't really make an impact, to be honest with you. And I think that's got to be taken into account for next season, is the fact that he had the chance to come in, get fit, show his quality, and he's not got into the side much, has he? So I think he probably will be released. And like you said, we haven't really seen enough of him, and that's probably going to be the telling factor, is that we haven't really actually seen enough of him to play. So there's probably better out there.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. Next one, Zach Mills. Has had a fantastic season when he's played this season. Became club captain in Bozzy's, timeout, and I mean, hearing him talk at the end of the season at Maidenhead. I'm not sure even if he knows whether he's going to be staying or not, but I think he wants to, from what I could get, and I would definitely give him a new contract as a squad player. David.
Yeah, it's another one where you got to take in the broader aspects that we don't really have an idea of. He works. He just had a new baby. To add to his previous child as well. He's got two now, double trouble. To look after.
Yep.
So it's going to be hard for him to stay, I think. And he works as well, like Ozzy does. So it'll be hard. It'll be sad to see him go because he's been such a good servant for the club. But I just can't tell. I'd probably offer him a new deal. I think I would. It's just whether he accepts it or not. We've had a lot of them.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of them situations.
We have, definitely. Steaders.
Yeah, Zach Mills is fantastic, isn't he? What a guy. Hard to judge on interviews as well, because like I said, I heard that, and his voice didn't change at all when he was asked about it, did he? About what was happening. Like, well, I'll just wait for the phone to ring. It's like, just like that. You can't judge anything from him, but what you can judge from him is an absolute leader. I love the guy. Sign him, please sign him. If he's saying there's not much difference between what he's doing now and full time, that gave me a little indication that it's not going to take much persuasion for him to go to full time football. Because if it was, then he would he? I don't know, again, would he say it on radio? I'm not so sure. We've heard murmurs and rumours. We always get rumours, silly stuff about Spalding United and stuff like this season, haven't we? Jimmy Dean wants a bit of him as well. I don't know if you've heard this one, chaps, but yeah, this is what I've heard recently. Will it happen? Probably not. But no, Zach Mills, 100% for the win. Keep him, and just hope that he can perform half as well as he has this season, because fantastic and deservedly Player of the Year as well, by the way.
Yes, yeah, for sure. The next one, again, I believe, I've heard the rumours that he might have a new contract. I'm not sure, but Dylan Hill, I mean, again, he's like a little Rottweiler, or a little on the pitch. He's just going around the pitch. He's just such a hard worker, fantastic player, and needs to stay. Sedders.
Yeah, I'm not sure where his contract lies, because obviously when we signed it, under 23 years
That's
old,
right.
the issue was back then it was part-time football, wasn't it? Well, hybrid football. Now it's full-time football. Yeah. Does that mean the contract now is not the same? I'm not sure how that lies with that, but yeah, you keep Dylan Hill by all means necessary. Again, can he play in the EFL? I don't know. You know what? I'm not so sure he can. I don't think he's at the J Rowe kind of level yet, to be honest with you. I think he's still got years in him yet to mature and grow with us rather than go anywhere else. Can I see him anywhere else than us? Probably not at the minute, to be honest with you. I know, I think that this is probably one of the more I'm certain on that he will be in a Boston shirt come August.
Fingers crossed. David?
I hope so, because he's a quality player, isn't he? You know what he does. He runs the most out of anybody on that bloody pitch, doesn't he? So, yeah, it'd be good to see him stay. Like Tom says, I don't know if he's ready for the EFL yet. He's probably a bit too raw still. He needs to. It's all well and good running a lot and running everywhere and winning the ball back, but there was some times at the start of the season where we got put in a bit poor and bit bad positions because of his over willingness and commitment to try and win the ball back. So maybe in another few more years developing, I could see him going on to be a really, really quality football player. But I think we will definitely offer him new terms, and I hope that he's in a Boston shirt next season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Now the next one, Dan Adshed. Again, I mean, he looked promising when we saw him, but he got the injury, and I think he's going to be offered a new deal. I think he will be. Graham obviously signed him, obviously sees something in him. So I do think that he will be offered something new for next season. Steaders?
Yeah, I think he will as well, to be honest with you. It'd be nice to see a bit more of him again. Some of these lads we've had pretty poor rub of the green in terms of injuries, haven't we?
We have,
haven't we? It seems like we never seem to get anybody off for a few weeks. It always seems to be like months, doesn't it? So it's what it is, though. Every team's the same, I'm sure. But yeah, Dan had said, give him a bit longer for me.
David?
For me, I think it's the same case as Jacob Hazel is. How long is it going to take him to get up and running again? Because he looked tidy. He did. He looked pretty good when he came in. How long it's going to take him to recover and get rolling again, and whether he can be the same player as he was before. Maybe a pre-season, seeing evaluating whether that can happen or not. But he looked good in the 2 or 3 appearances that he made. Let's just hope he can get back up to the levels again after that awful injury that he sustained. But this, to be honest, I could see this one going either way. He obviously stays and does really well, or he could probably be dished out now and not many people thank him for what he's done, and he can sort of head off with just not getting the rub of the green. But like you say, Tom, we've had some awful injuries this season, and players haven't had the chance to really show themselves what they're made of. And it's going to be in the back of Graham's mind when he makes these decisions. But it's all about the present, isn't it? It's all about doing what's best for the club in the present moment. So we can only see.
Yeah, of course. And the final player in the squad, which I hope I've managed to get everyone, is Jake Lovelace. He's been around for a few years. I think we need a slightly better, older backup. Whether we'll get, we can get one or not, I'm not too sure. But for me, I probably wouldn't offer a new deal. I think Jake would be well to go to another sort of local club, possibly in Lincolnshire, and I think he could do quite well there. But I'm just not sure about him being a reserve goalkeeper for Boston. I mean, it was shown this season that Gregory got injured, and they brought they brought other keepers in, which just shows you how much do they trust Jake anyway. If anything does happen to Cam, so I would say release Jake Lovelace. Steaders?
Similar. I think, like you say, when they start bringing goalkeepers in, he's only going to knock the poor lad's confidence. But he's a local lad, isn't he? So probably that's another reason to keep him around as well, isn't it? But the thing is with goalkeepers is that, like you say, the chances are that one's going to get picked every week and one's not going to play. So to have an expensive backup is probably not on the top of Coughlin's shopping.
That's the only thing.
So that is the
No.
thing, you know. So this is why they always go down this route, and then panic stations hit if he gets injured. That's what happens usually, isn't it? So, but yeah, for me, for Jake, great servant to the club. I think he'll stay again. Actually, I think they'll offer him something again this season. They obviously like the way he trains. Maybe it's a lot on Cam Gregory's decision as well. Maybe this one, I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, no, Jake's fantastic, local lad, good servant to the club. So I hope he gets another deal.
Yeah, David.
I think he will get another deal. You know, he's handy to keep around. A local lad, like you said, he's had a few loans, I believe, at Step 5 in the local leagues. So you know, he's been around. He's got some experience, but he's probably not best suited to be a backup goalkeeper just yet. Maybe in a few years' time, maybe. But we just keep forgetting that he's only a really, really, really young lad. You know, we speak of young lads like Dylan Hill. I think isn't Dylan Hill 21 now? Lovelace even younger than he is. I think he's only a couple of years older than I am. So, you know, he's got a few more years in him to develop, and we haven't really seen what he can properly do yet. So I think he's just useful to keep around and complement the squad. And if we do need to get another goalkeeper for any other reason, I think we've got the facilities to go and do that. But, you know, Jake's happy. Well, seems to be happy with the amount of first team exposure he's getting at the moment. So, you know, fair on him.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So we've had a few loanees this season as well that came in, and some have gone back. We've had some at the end of the season still that have now gone back. Obviously, they aren't players that Boston United can, get back in unless they're going to pay money, unless they're out of contract. We had players such as Tony Weston, Osing Gallagher, Jimmy Knowles, Frankie Maguire, James Gow, Noah Wandsworth, and Greg Sloggett. Are there any there? I've not heard about anyone being released yet. I know Accrington have got some financial troubles. I believe they've had to just give up the women's team there because they can't afford to run them anymore. They're looking to cut losses at Accrington. But out of them, are there players that you would look at maybe trying to get back in for a season-long loan next season, David?
Out of that list, probably not. I think there's better about, to be perfectly honest with you. Jimmy Knowles hasn't made the same impact as he did last year. Wadsworth's been limited. Gale's done all right when he's played, but only when he's played, and he's sort of struggled to get into the side and had to settle for coming off the bench. Who else was there? Sorry.
Sloggett.
Yeah. Sloggett's a big one. He's come in and he's done well, and he's looks like he's enjoyed his football. But, you know, I think Lee mentioned it, that football clubs pay a lot more money for these players than we do at the moment. So I think he'd like to come. It's just whether we can give him the money that he wants to.
Of course, he came from Hartlepool, didn't he? So, and what about Tony Weston? Because I do hear that he might be released from Derby. I've not seen anything as yet, but I'm not sure. Personally, I don't think so. Steaders?
Not for me. No, it didn't show enough. He had chances to score. I think he missed a few sitters as well. Just didn't show enough for me to earn anything. Again, National League North kind of player for my liking. See him playing at that kind of level. And pretty well, to be honest with you. The only name that you didn't mention was Pemi Aderoju, and I won't sign him either.
Yes.
But there is only one serious one on that list that you mentioned. That is Greg Sloggett for me. If you can sign him, you can get him.
Yes.
Sign him.
Yeah.
Because he's been.
I'd have to agree with you on that.
He's knitted it all together at the business end of the table. Will they let him go? I don't know. Obviously, Jimmy's on Accrington's retained list as well. He's actually on there, so he's under contract. Right. So that won't be happening in any other way apart from a loan at the minute until their situation changes, as you mentioned. But no, Greg Sloggett would be the one out of all them for me. Will we have enough in the kitty in the piggy bank to tempt him? I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. But Graham's contact book must be fantastic, mustn't it? It must be great, mustn't it? You know, you look at all the places he's been, and in between him and Bully, they must have their contact book must be ridiculous. So trust me, they've got eyes on everybody and everywhere. So we have to trust them. They've earned this right, haven't they, to go out there shopping now and build their own squad to go again. So we have to trust in everything they do.
We do. And obviously with the retain list, I'm sure will be announced very soon indeed. And we'll keep our eyes and ears open for that and just see who they actually do retain and who they do release at Boston United. So it'll be very interesting to find out. But at the beginning of the season, we did a table, didn't we? We all predicted the league table from top to bottom. And yeah, that's all I can say. Some we've done okay on, I think. Some we've done all right on. We all said that Boston would stay up, didn't we? I believe we did, and so we've all got that one right. But I believe you've been
right. Yeah, that's about it.
Really?
Well,
oh my God!
I believe you've been looking, Stedders. I believe you've been looking and analysing it all. So
I have been analysing. So basically, I've got all three of our league predictions in front of me. I've put little red ticks next to the ones we've got spot on, and I've put either an up or down arrow and how many places wrong we have got it as well. So so some we've got spot on. There's a few we've got on spot on. Some we've got drastically wrong. So if I start at the bottom, I'll start at our 24th, our 24th predictions. Can you remember what they were, Damo?
I've got mine here actually, so I can tell you. I said Braintree.
Well
wrong.
I said Tamworth, didn't I? Oh my
God! Tamworth, David, and I said Braintree as well.
Dear.
So to put that in context, Braintree was wrong. They finished 7 places higher than what me and Damo both predicted, and Tamworth is the biggest slide out of anybody on this whole prediction. 14 places. David got that wrong. They finished 10th.
Oh, David.
So not a good start for David there, was it? Right, we'll go for 23rd. Can anybody? Damon's got it in front of him. He's cheating a little bit.
Yeah,
go, David.
I said Maidenhead.
Can you remember who you said, David?
Was it Filed?
It was Braintree you went
for.
for.
Okay.
And I went for Wealdstone. So yeah, Damo went for Maidenhead.
At least they got relegated.
Yeah. You got it right, but you was wrong by 1 place. So they finished higher than what you thought. Braintree, David, finished 6 places higher than what you thought. And I said Wealdstone, and they finished 3 places higher than what you thought. It gets better. Don't worry. We are getting to the don't worry. So at this point, nobody predicted the correct one.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Let's go 22nd then. So we're still in a relegation zone here. Damo, who'd you go for?
I went for Tamworth.
David, can you remember who you went for?
Oh, was it a big club? Was it no. Oh, was it like Eastleigh or somebody like that?
Yeah, right letter. It was Ebbsfleet, actually.
Ebbsfleet. Oh, okay.
And I went for Maidenhead.
Oh,
great.
You were spot
on. So Tamworth, Damo, you only got Tamworth won by 11 places. Ebbsfleet, David, you got wrong by 2. That was all, just 2. And I got Maidenhead spot on. So I get a nice little red tick for that. So there we go. Back end of the relegation zone. By the way, folks, anybody listening, we're not boring you, we hope. And we're definitely not pundits or predictors. Do not ask us
we're not
for you because we're rubbish. Okay, so 21st, the last relegation zone place. Damo, who'd you go for?
I went for Wealdstone.
Wealdstone. David.
Filed, I think.
You went for Filed.
Yeah.
Guess what? I went for Dagenham.
No way. No, right. No, listen to me here. That is an insanely rogue shout. How the bloody hell have you pulled that off? I'll be frank here. Where did we put Dagenham? About, I reckon, mid-table. There's absolutely no way you could. No, right.
I put Dagenham.
No, you must have done that as a joke or something.
Listen it back.
No, you must have put that down as a joke. I'm just saying there's absolutely no logic behind that whatsoever.
I
Dagenham
went for Dagenham.
Dagenham only went down because of their incompetent manager and their incompetent board. That's the only reason why they went down. So
Well, all I
I don't know how you did it.
all I can say is that I sent him a message and he did the job for me. But no,
Let me win the podcast predictions, please, Mr. Young.
David, don't worry. Mine's terrible past there and really. But anyway, I got that right. So Wilson was incorrect. Wilson finished a place higher. File finished 2 places lower. So yeah, at the minute I'm winning 2-0. But like I say, my points from here, guys, are rubbish. I got everything virtually wrong from here. Right. So 20th place was the place you both predicted Boston would finish. You both said Boston United finished 20th, and I said Woking would finish in the 20th place. So you guys were wrong by 1 place, and I was wrong by 5 places there. All right, so Woking finished 5 places higher, so that does make up for it a little bit, doesn't it? So 19th place, Damo, who'd you go for?
AFC Fylde.
You went for Fylde. You thought Fylde would stay up. David, you went for Woking there actually, and I went for Eastleigh. So Fylde finished 4 places lower for Damo. Woking finished 4 places higher for David. And Eastleigh finished 6 places higher for me. So I got that one very, very wrong. So again, guys, we're just proving the fact that the National League is completely bonkers at this point. So 18th place, Damo.
Sutton United.
David went for Eastleigh. And I went for Boston. So Sutton United finished 6 places higher than what Damo thought they would. Eastleigh finished 4 places higher, and Boston finished 1 place lower than I thought they would. So I nearly got Boston's right, but not quite. I'm as far away as you guys were, really. So there we go. That's the way. That one. So we all got that one wrong, I'm afraid. Right, there was quite a big ones on this one. This is quite amusing. There's some big ones coming up. So 17th place, Damo, go on.
Altrincham.
David Wealdstone.
Okay.
He was Tamworth. Okay. So
that's all right.
He finished 8 places higher than what Damo predicted. Wealdstone finished 3 places lower, and Tamworth finished 7 places higher than what I said. So we got that one completely wrong. 16th, Damo.
Ebbsfleet.
Ebbsfleet United finished 16th according to Damo.
They let me down.
You said Maidenhead, David. David said Maidenhead.
I think that's the money, wasn't it? Because they sold that centre back. Was it Max Kilman or something?
That was right. I remember you saying that on air.
Yeah.
They have loads of money to pump. They didn't pump any money in the squad, did they?
No, they did not.
And I said Files, so we was all a bit wrong there. Ebbsfleet finished 8 places lower. Maidenhead finished 8 places lower. And Fylde finished 7 places lower. So, yeah, we messed that one up, folks, unfortunately. So
it gets worse for me.
Mate, you haven't heard my next one. My next one's ridiculous. Are you ready? Right. 15th place, Damo.
Dagenham and Redbridge.
David, Aldershot, you were very close.
Ooh.
Get mine. I said York would finish.
Yeah, I thought you did. Yeah.
So Dagenham was 6 places lower. Aldershot were only 1 place lower, David. So you did well there. York were only a mere 13 places higher than I predicted. So yeah. So I got that one completely. I just couldn't see it, but you guys called it. You guys called it a lot better than I did with them. So well done to you lot there. Right, 15th place. Dave.
I went for FC Halifax.
Oh, 14th. Sorry, this isn't it. Halifax for you.
14th. Yeah. Sorry, yes. 14th.
David went for Dagenham. And guess what? I went for Ebbsfleet.
No.
So Halifax finished 8 places higher. Dagenham finished 7 lower, and Ebbsfleet finished 10 lower. So I got that one completely wrong. Right. Okay. Then we're going to 13th place. Damo, sorry.
I went for Woking.
David went for York, and I went for Sutton. So Woking finished 2 places lower. York finished 11 places. York finished 9 places higher, 11th. Yeah, and then Sutton finished 1 higher. So I wasn't far off. Woking wasn't far off here. You guys are going to score some points soon, though, because this is where I start messing up. So, so here we go. So what we're on to 12th, aren't we?
On to 12th now, yeah. I said
David,
Aldershot.
David said Forest Green, and I said Yeovil.
Oh.
So Aldershot were 4 below, Forest Green were 9 higher, and Yeovil was 6 below. So again, didn't really predict that one well. Here we go. Number 11. Here we go. 11. Damo.
Hartlepool.
Damo said Hartlepool. David said Yeovil, and I said Gateshead.
Oh.
Damo got it right. Damo got it right. Well done, Damo. Well done, Damo.
Good old Hartlepool.
David said Yeovil, and he was 7 below, and I said Gateshead, and they finished 3 higher. So well done to Damo on that one. 10th then, Damo.
I went for Yeovil.
Did. David went for Hartlepool, and I went for Aldershot. So
it's only 1 for David.
So yeah, Yeovil were 8 down, Hartlepool were 1 down, and Shots were 6 down. So not great really for any of us there. It starts to get better though. Here we go. Okay, ninth position. Yeah,
Eastleigh I went for.
you went for Eastleigh. David went for Solihull. Dennis went for Altrincham. Guess who finished 9th? Eastleigh finished 4 places lower. Solihull finished 5 places lower. Alty finished in 9th position. Yeah. So I got 3 right. So 3 right.
Have I not got 1 yet?
No.
I think to give up now.
No. But David, good times are just around the corner. Let's go for 8th position. Here we go.
Right. I said Oldham Athletic.
You said Oldham. David said Gateshead.
Oh yes.
And I said Halifax.
And we got.
And I said Halifax. So Damo, your Oldham finished 3 places higher. Gateshead finished in 8th position. Well done, David. And Halifax finished 2 higher. So there we go. So now we're into the all-important playoff places. 7th place, Damo.
Forest Green.
Forest Green for Damo. David went for Southend.
Oh, lovely. Come on.
Ooh.
And I went for Rochdale. So Forest Green finished 4 places higher. Southend finished in 7th place. Well done, David. And Rochdale finished 3 places higher. So it's getting very tight now. Okay, so we're going to 6th place.
Not for me, it's not.
Damo.
York City.
Damo went for York City. David went for Halifax.
My God.
Pretty hell.
And I went for Solihull. You're on a right run here, David. So York finished 4 places higher. Halifax finished 6th. And Solihull finished 8 places lower. So I got the one very wrong there, unfortunately. But well done, David. You're on 3 in a row, mate.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to 5th place. David, Damo.
Southend.
David. Oldham.
No.
I said Forest Green. And I said Forest Green. So Damo was 2 below. David, you got it right. 4 in a row.
I might be good at this predicting a lot.
You weren't so good at the start, were you? But the back end made you score there. I said Forest Green, and I was wrong by 2 places. They finished 2 places higher. So, okay, we're into 4th position now, and Damo went for
Gateshead.
David went for Alty, and I went for Hartlepool. So Damo was 4 below, Alty was 5 below, and Hartlepool was 7 below. So yeah, not very good there, folks. But we are getting on to some better news for 2 out of 3 of us in a minute.
I was going to say it's not good for me.
Third place, then go for it, Damo.
I don't know why I said this. Solihull Moors.
You went for Solihull.
They were playoff, weren't they, last year? They were playoff finalists.
Yeah.
I watched them last year, and I thought they did really well, and that's why I went for them.
I was in the Gateshead end in that FA Trophy final.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Ah.
David, 3rd place, you went Rochdale, mate, and I went for Southend. So Solihull were 9 places lower, Rochdale just the 1, and Southend the 4. So runners up.
I went for Rochdale.
David went for Sutton United.
Oh God.
I went for Barnet. So Rochdale were two below. Sutton finished 10 places lower, and Barnet finished 1 place higher. But it gets better for you two here. So first place, go on, Damo.
Yeah, I went for Barnet.
David went for Barnet, and I went for Oldham. I went for Oldham. So you two, well done. They finished champions, and Oldham finished 5 places lower. So just to give you overall scores, taking the wooden spoon was Damo with 2. I scored 3, and David is the winner with 5. But this is not over yet, because we have still got our playoff predictions to go. And just to remind you who they were, Damo predicted Rochdale, David predicted Olty, and I predicted Southend. So 2 out of 3 of us might give you right. But we'll wait and see. So there you go. But there you go. Well done, chaps. We'll have another go at messing it up again at the start of next season.
Yeah.
Absolutely, of course.
It was great fun, though.
Yeah, I said I'd be happy with 6. So 5's not too bad.
5 was all right.
Yeah. Well,
I would have been happy with 1. And I've got 2, so I'll take that.
The one that really matters is Boston above that line, though. Let's be honest. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
exactly. And hopefully this coming season, it's going to be a lot higher as well, fingers crossed. So, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, chaps. It's been a great season after all. We managed to stay up in the National League, so we're very happy at that. Of course, this could be the last podcast of the season. If anything big happens, we'll be back, of course. We can jump on, can't we, and have a chat about any news that's coming along. So, and obviously when the friendlies are announced and new signings start coming in, we can start coming on discussing them, can't we? So, all pretty good. So, once again, thank you very much for being here all season, and looking forward to carrying on next season. Hopefully getting even bigger and even better next season as well. Fingers crossed. And don't forget, if you do want to listen to the podcast, we are on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Amazon Music, and you can also find us on YouTube. Don't forget, you can subscribe to Up The Pilgrims podcast on Facebook, also on YouTube and on all the other channels as well. Really appreciate your support, and look forward to the new season. And should be a good one, shouldn't it?
Should be. Right. Someone's going to fly by, isn't it?
It is, exactly. So, right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, lads. And we shall see you very soon on another edition of Up the Pilgrims.